If you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says, The Rock says. The Rock says, The Rock. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
Hello and welcome to the AEW Wrestling Talk Show with Jones and
as we bring you our reactions to AEW Full Gear, which came at you from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
no, we do not have a exact attendance for Full Gear. However, we do have a buy-in rate of 145,000.
Which is pretty good. Let's take you straight through to our buy-in match.
Now, we should mention before we do that, and we should have mentioned this in our pre-show last week, this show took place on the 13th of November, 16 years to the day of the death of beloved wrestler Eddie Guerrero.
Yes, Eddie Guerrero. Those years ago, wow. So during the show, there was a lot of Eddie Guerrero mentions and tributes.
Yes, there wasn't a company that must not be named, but will be named anyway. Video packets, but there were smaller things scattered throughout the show, such as certain people winning matches with a frog's press, and of course Vicky Guerrero herself being a part of a buy-in match.
Which is what we're heading to now.
This was a tag team women's match with Akira Shida and Thunder Rosa teaming up to take on the team of
Jamie Hayter and the first transgender woman in professional wrestling, Nyla Rose.
Yes, let's just say it did not go well for those two.
No.
As they would go on to be on the losing streak for the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships. Which is only a matter of time before they get enough women. But then the main card opened up with Darby Allin, or should I say Stin 2.0.
To pretty much taking on his longtime rival, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, otherwise known as MJF.
Now, Wardlow and Stin seem to be absent in this match.
That is until we got
halfway through a 22-minute match, which was decently done back and forth.
Yes, I would agree with that.
But since losing to the Inner Circle and having that debacle, which seems to be over for the most part now, it was kind of time for MJF to go back onto a winning streak.
And with a bit of help from a certain Diamond Ring, MJF picks up the win.
Next is our first of 3 championship matches for the AEW World Tag Team Championships as the Lucha Brothers defend against the Revival. I mean FTR.
You mean FTR? In an 18-minute matchup.
Now, given the fact that the Lucha Brothers only won the titles at the last pay-per-view in All Out,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was really expecting a title change here because AEW, unlike other companies who will not be mentioned but also will be mentioned due to extreme circumstances, do not necessarily have someone win a title at one pay-per-view only to lose it at the next pay-per-view. Especially when their pay-per-views are spread out over every other month.
Yeah.
Which in turn means that after 18.5 minutes, the Lucha Brothers retained the Tag Team Championships despite the best efforts of Tessa Blanchard's father.
Tully Blanchard. So the Lucha Brothers have retained the AEW World Tag Team titles.
Next, we go to a AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament final in a match that was supposed to be Daniel Bryan versus Dean Ambrose.
Copyright. Don't you mean Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley? But unfortunately, as we mentioned in our pre-show, art had to imitate real life because Moxley went into rehab for his alcohol problems that he was suffering from. So as we mentioned on our pre-show, we would like to send our well wishes to Jon Moxley.
He was replaced by Rusev. Miro.
Copyright Miro.
Really, I don't think the replacement made any difference to the outcome. I do think that Bryan would likely have won this match either way.
Yes,
and
so the winner of the match.
And I believe that the move used to win this match just so happened to be a little thing called the Yes Lock.
Yeah, so the winner of the match by technical submission and becoming number one contender to whoever won out of the Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page match is Bryan Danielson.
Hold on, are we allowed to call it the Yes Lock in AEW?
I don't know what they call lever, to be honest. Our next match, this next match was a spicy one.
Yes, it was essentially a Falls Count Anywhere 6-person tag team match.
Yes, as Christian Cage and Jurassic Express team up to take on the Super Clique of the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, baby!
Now, this one was this is a classic case of what I think AEW's possible only problem is having some of these matches on back to back. A few of these matches could probably have been done on episodes of Dynamite or Rampage. So to give the audience a bit of a breather between classic matches.
Yes, but after this 6-man war, it all ended with a concerto.
Yes, Christian decided to take a little bit of a hint from his best friend, related as Superstar, whose shall for copyright reasons remain nameless.
Yes, I was going to say.
And hit the concerto, ending this
In what could only be described as a war.
games. where they pin for victory. Now, speaking of tag team matches, next we had Cody Rhodes teaming up with Neville to take on the team of Aleister Black and Andrade.
Malachi Black and Andrade had
Well,
Copyright.
the name Andrade is a bit of a half copyrighted one, just like Christian is.
True, but again, this match was around 16 minutes in length.
Yes, and Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black have been going at war with each other really ever since
Malachi jumped ship.
from the company that must not be named.
Yeah.
And this whole thing kind of started off. I was drawn out of events from week past,
Yeah.
including one-on-one matches between the two, which I believe started in the... No, they didn't face each other in the tournament, did they? No, they didn't.
I don't think so, but either way.
And then, of course, to even up the sides, Pac decided to get involved, as did Andrade. With Arn Anderson and unfortunately Queen Zelina not involved. But after 17 minutes, Cody Rhodes and Pac would pick up the victory.
They would indeed. Now, this next match would be for the AEW Women's World Championship. And Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, puts the title on the line against Dark Order's Ty Conti.
Now, if there was ever a time you wanted to take a slight breather from all the action, this is possibly one that you could have done. Because let's face it, Baker is the women's division, at least until certain people possibly show up.
Possible, we'll have to see about that.
And I don't think it will come as any surprise that the winner of this match, and still AEW Women's Champion, is Dr. Britt Baker.
DMD.
Then we would go to, let's just say, a match worthy of what will take place on Sunday. A Minneapolis street fight.
Wait, we're missing one match.
Oh yeah, sorry, jumping match. As the...
Yeah, rewind
the the best in the world and non-copyrighted, I may add.
Yeah.
CM Punk
took on Ed Kingston.
Yes, now this has been building for a while over the past few weeks.
It has been.
More so over the past few weeks after Danielson was advanced in the tournament with a win over Kingston.
Yes.
And of course, on an episode of Dynamite, Kingston obliterated Punk on a promo, which is not easy to do.
No, and when this match officially got underway, CM Punk during the match got busted open.
Yes, something you will not see in a company that must not be named most of the time. Most of the time, at least.
But the winner of the match after what could only be described as a war was CM Punk.
After 11 minutes. However, the events after this match, with CM Punk offering a handshake to Eddie Kingston and Kingston walking away, kind of makes me think that these two are not quite done with each other, and we could possibly see here what we saw with a certain rated R superstar and Messiah with the best of 3 series.
Yes, now we'll move on to the Minneapolis Street.
Yes, or what could be classed as a elimination tag team match or War Games type incident with the inner circle of Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Jack Swagger,
Copyright. TNT champion Sammy Guevara.
Santana and Ortiz taking on Men of the Year and Ethan Page and Scorpion Sky.
And American top team Junior DeSantos and Andre Araleski, and the leader of the whole thing, Dan Lambert.
Now, I hate to say this, but this match was probably the botchiest match on the card.
Oh yeah, there was botches left, right, and centre.
How many times do we have to say, oh, on a rare occasion how it works, but very rarely does someone translate from the UFC to wrestling and make it work. Yes, Ronda Rousey made it work.
Of course.
Cain Velasquez could have possibly made it work. I think Junior Dos Santos needs to stay out of the wrestling ring, or at least get proper training.
But despite that, I liked how the match ended with a bit of with Chris Jericho's thinking, again doing another tribute to the late Eddie Guerrero.
Yes, with a Viva la Raza frog splash.
On to Dan Lambert for the 1, 2, 3. But after the match, Tony Schiavone got onto the ramp and announced a new AEW signing. Former Ring of Honor heavyweight champion Jay Lethal,
who would go on to Wednesday's Dynamite to challenge Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, if most of you out there haven't watched the match, Sammy Guevara retains the championship.
Now let's go on to the main event for the AEW World Championship. As finally Hangman Adam Page got his one-on-one shot against Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship without the interference of the rest of the Elite, I may add.
And this match was around 25 minutes in length.
I will admit that in the pre-show last week, I let the match that I would rather see get in the way of the story that has been told quite clearly for the past 2 years. on AEW TV.
Now,
This,
during
this
yeah.
whole thing with these two really started 2 years ago when they won the tag team titles together.
Yes.
Then after the loss of the tag team titles, they went their separate ways. Adam Page had a bit of a weird streak where he wasn't doing anything much. Had a rivalry with Jericho, I believe.
At some point, yes, whilst Kenny Omega went on to win the AEW World Championship from Jon Moxley.
And now they would eventually collide after this match got delayed. Because I think this match was originally going to take place at All Out. Or it's like, that's what we were led to believe. Of course, Christian would take the match to All Out.
Yes.
But then that would lead to this. Now, I let the fact that Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega would be a better match get in the way of the story between these two. And but after hitting his finishing maneuver on Kenny Omega and a 1-2-3 kick out victory, 1-2-3, and then a kick out. You missed the kick out there, Omega.
Yes.
The winner of the match and new AEW World Champion.
Hangman Adam Page. And his victory was celebrated not only in the ring, but with the entire Dark Order.
Yes, but then on Dynamite, during the celebration, his number one contender and first challenger. Now, how early they take this match forward, or whether they want to draw this match out. Bryan Danielson would come to the ring and essentially declare war on the Dark Order and turn heel for the first time in like 2 years.
Yes, and basically declare his unhappiness and disappointment about not facing Kenny Omega.
And then he did the unthinkable.
Roll the clip.
Some people celebrate like that. When I won the World Championship at WrestleMania, I wrestled the very next day.
Yeah, you heard that right. Daniel Bryan mentioning the flagship show of the opposing company on AEW television.
Yep, Bryan Danielson went there. He broke the fourth wall.
And let's just say that the Dynamite audience did not appreciate that.
No, they didn't. So let us run you through the AEW Full Gear card one more time.
In the buy-in match, Akira Shida and Thunder Rose defeated Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose.
On the main card, MJF defeated Darby Allin.
The Lucha Brothers retained the AEW World Tag Team Championships against FTR.
Bryan Danielson defeated Miro by technical submission to become number one contender to the AEW World Championship.
Christian and Jurassic Express defeated the Super Clique of Adam Page and the Young Bucks.
Adam Cole, but no.
Again, Adam. I did that last week. Adam Cole and the Young Bucks.
It's okay, mistake didn't happen. Cody Rhodes and Pac defeated Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo in a tag team match.
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, retained the AEW Women's World Championship by defeating Trey Conti of the Dark Order.
CM Punk defeated Eddie Kingston.
The Inner Circle's Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana and Ortiz defeated Melanie and Ethan Page, Scorpion Sky, and the American top team of Junior Dos Santos and Jay
RJ Arlesky and Dan Lambert. And in the main event, Hangman Adam Page will defeat Kenny Omega to become the new AEW World Champion.
Join us on Saturday evening, where we will be switching companies to a show yet again that must not be named.
So until then,
and possibly looking back at the 25 years since the debut in professional wrestling of the Great One, the man professionally known as Dwayne Johnson or The Rock.
So until then, he's been
Reese Jones, and he's been
Sean Smith, and we will see you soon.